62. General Knowledge Questions and Answers. India and World. Part 2. Which among the following is not a correct pair? Option A. Ellora Caves, Rashtrakuta rulers. B. Mahabalipuram, Pallava rulers. C. Khajuraho, Chandales. D. Elephanta Caves, Maurya era. Answer D. Elephanta Caves, Mauryan era. Who is ninth avatar of Vishnu? Balarama. In the northern tradition, Balarama is replaced by Buddha, who appears as the ninth avatar after Krishna, his mission being to purify Hinduism. Srimad Bhagavatam, circa 900 AD, according to Farquhar, takes the stand that Krishna is the original form of Vishnu and the incarnations were all his. What is blue chip stocks, India? Blue chip stocks refer to shares of companies with large market capitalization. Blue chip companies. These companies are relatively less sensitive to market fluctuations compared to mid cap and small cap companies. What is Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi is a wireless networking technology that allows devices such as computers, laptops and desktops, mobile devices, smartphones and wearables, and other equipment, printers and video cameras to interface with the internet. Who is known as the father of all India services? Charles Cornwallis. During the British Raj, Warren Hastings laid the foundation of civil service and Charles Cornwallis reformed, modernized and rationalized it. Hence, Charles Cornwallis is known as the father of civil service in India. Cornwallis introduced two divisions of the Indian civil service, covenanted and uncovenanted. Which is the largest bank in India? The four largest banks based on market capitalization and total assets are State Bank of India, HDFC Bank, Bank of Baroda and ICICI Bank. When did they start putting dates on coins? 16th century. When do dates first start appearing on coins? In Britain, we start seeing coins with dates on them from the 16th century during the reign of Edward VII. The coins of his reign are the first to have in numerals the year when they were issued. Are Chinese phones spying? All phones collect potentially sensitive data in order for applications and core processes to function, no matter where the phone originates. Even though your Chinese phone might not have any Chinese apps, firmware and background software can still communicate with Chinese servers. What is the smallest tree on earth? Growing to a mere 1 to 6 centimeters in height, the dwarf willow Salix herbaceae is arguably the world's tiniest tree. The dwarf willow would make the perfect Christmas tree for even the tiniest apartment. This tiny wooden sprout has developed the key strategy to surviving the cold, staying really small. In these Arctic places, the dwarf willow stays close to the ground to avoid the brunt of the cold winds. What is copyright? Copyright protects original works of authorship under the laws of the United States. The law is based on the principle that the author of a work may reap the fruits of his or her intellectual activity for a limited period. Original works of authorship can include literary, dramatic, musical, architectural, cartographic, pantomimic, graphic, sculptural, and audiovisual creations. For any work created on or after January 1, 1978, work is automatically protected from the moment of its creation for a term that includes the author's lifetime plus an additional 70 years after the author's death. Who has stronger genes, mother or father? Paternal genes have been found to be more dominant than the maternal ones. Genes from your father are more dominant than those inherited from your mother. New research has shown all mammals are likely to use the majority of genetic material passed down from males, even if offspring look and act more like the mother. This means that even though we inherit an equal amount of DNA from each parent, the paternal line is mostly found to govern how a person develops into an adult, especially in regards to their health. Who decides money bill in India? The definition of money bill is given in Article 110 of the Constitution of India. A financial bill is not a money bill unless it fulfills the requirements of Article 110. The Speaker of the Lok Sabha certifies if a financial bill is a money bill or not. How to pass ordinance in India? Promulgation of an ordinance has to be ratified by the President. Such ordinances carry the full force of a law made by the legislature with one catch. The law only remains in force for 6 weeks once the Parliament is convened, at which time it must be approved by both houses of Parliament in order to become a law, which is called as the king of all spices. Hundreds of years ago, traders considered black pepper the king of spices called black gold. It was one of the very first items of commerce between India and Europe. Black pepper is used to make black pepper oil, an essential oil with an incredible list of powerful uses. What is the national color of India? Saffron. In the national flag of India, the top band is of saffron color, indicating the strength and courage of the country. The white middle band indicates peace and truth with Dharma Chakra. The last band is green in color, shows the fertility, growth, and auspiciousness of the land. Which spice is known as queen of spices? Cardamom. While black pepper is considered the king of spices, the little green parts called cardamom are known as the queen of spices. What is the most humid place on earth? The most humid places on earth are tropical seashores such as Southeast Asia, the Congo River, and coastal cities worldwide. These places register 100% humidity consistently. New Orleans is not more humid than the Amazon River basin, but only because 100% is as humid as it gets. Who is the world's richest woman? Alice Walton. Alice Walton of Walmart is worth a reported 54.4 billion, making her the world's richest woman. What is Mughal garden famous for? The Mughal gardens are the few number of gardens built by the Mughals in the Islamic style of architecture in India as well as other countries. Most famous Mughal gardens of India are the Garden of Taj Mahal, the Red Fort Garden in Delhi, Agra Fort, and Humayun's Tomb Garden. When was the tomb of Humayun built? 1570 AD. Humayun's tomb, Delhi. The tomb built in 1570 is of particular cultural significance as it was the first garden tomb on the Indian subcontinent. It inspired several major architectural innovations, culminating in the construction of the Taj Mahal. Does thorium produce more energy than uranium? It is estimated that 1 ton of thorium can produce as much energy as 35 tons of uranium in a liquid fluoride thorium reactor. Conventional reactors utilizes less than 1% of uranium, whereas a well-working reprocessing reactor can utilize 99% of its thorium fuel. India's first satellite is named after. Options given: A. Aryabhatta, B. Bhaskara 2, C. Bhaskara 1, D. Albert Einstein. Answer option A. Aryabhatta. Which jungle is the densest forest in the world? Amazon forest. Amazon basin in South America is home to the world's largest contiguous tropical rainforest. The Amazon is the world's second longest and the most voluminous river spreading across 9 countries. The Amazon basin encompasses 700,000 square kilometers, that is 1.2 billion acres, while the forest itself, home to the greatest variety of plants and animals on earth, occupies some 55 lakhs square kilometers. Why is Saudi Arabia so hot? Because Saudi Arabia is an arid region with deserts on all sides and little to no vegetation to shield from the sun and heat. Global climate change is also playing a role in the increasing temperatures as it is getting hotter by the year. Why did Portuguese fail in India? Many causes were responsible for the failure of the Portuguese Empire in India. The Portuguese administration in India was very corrupt. The salaries of the officers were very low and they did not feel any hesitation to accept bribes from any quarter. The bulk of the Portuguese officers were selfish. DDT was invented by Othmar Giedler. DDT was first synthesized in 1874 by the Austrian chemist Othmar Giedler. DDT's insecticidal action was discovered by the Swiss chemist Paul Hermann Muller in 1939. DDT was used in the second half of World War II to control malaria and typhus among the civilians and troops, which is considered as the biggest port of India. Jawaharlal Nehru Port, abbreviated as JNPT, is also known as Nhava Sheva, is the largest container port in India, located east of Mumbai in Navi Mumbai, Maharashtra. This port on the Arabian Sea is accessed via Thane Creek. Its common name derives from the names of Nava and Shiva villages that were situated here. What type of acid is used in car batteries? Sulfuric acid molecules. Because the basic reactions in the battery involve uptake and release of sulfuric acid molecules, an electrolyte of sulfuric acid is used in these batteries. It is, however, possible to use other electrolytes with the lead dioxide couple. What is a group of sheep called? A group of sheep is called a drove, flock, or herd. A very large group of sheep is often called a band or a mob, but those two terms are decreasing in use generally. Does laughing gas make you laugh? Laughing gas leaves the patients conscious but dulls their pain and awareness. Its name comes from the calming effect that it has on the mind and body, sometimes causing a euphoric or giddy feeling that can even bring on a laughing fit. Which is the highest rank in Navy? The Chief of Naval Staff. The highest ranked naval officer is the Chief of Naval Staff. India uses the midshipman rank in its navy, and all future officers carry the rank upon entering the Indian Naval Academy. They are commissioned sub-lieutenants upon finishing their course of study. What is the best time to visit Arunachal Pradesh? October and April are the best months to visit Arunachal Pradesh, which are the winter and the spring months for the state. Arunachal is located at a high altitude and so has pleasant weather throughout the year. During the summers, April to June, temperature might be too high to explore during the peak daytime hours. What is the height of Taj Mahal? 73 meters. Taj Mahal is a 73 meters, that is 240 feet high monument constructed with a base length of 970 feet and width of 365 feet, and the complex is surrounded on an area measures around 1902 feet in length and 1002 feet in width. How many fundamental rights do we have? 7 fundamental rights. 7 fundamental rights were originally provided by the Constitution: the right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to property, and right to constitutional remedies. What is the location of Amazon forest? The majority of the forest is contained within Brazil with 60% of the rainforest, followed by Peru with 13% and with minor amounts in Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Bolivia, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. One-fifth of all the world's plants and birds and most one-tenth of all mammal species are found here. What is the medical emblem called? Caduceus. Caduceus is a symbol with a short staff entwined by 2 serpents sometimes surmounted by wings, while the rod of Asclepius is the one with a single snake. What are the best coffee beans in the world? The best coffee beans in the world are considered to be Kopi Luwak beans, which is coffee passed through the digestion of the Indonesia civet cat. It is also known as poop coffee and is an extremely controversial industry. Which state is famous for Kathak dance? Uttar Pradesh. Another popular and recognized form of classical Indian dance is Kathak that originated from Uttar Pradesh in North India. This one is derived from the word katha meaning story, and during the whole dance the dancers narrate stories through their eyes and expressions. Is beer a drug? Alcohol is a drug. Most people drink for the stimulant effect, such as a beer or glass of wine taken to loosen up. But if a person consumes more than the body can handle, they then experience alcohol's depressant effect. Where is the giant statue of Jesus? Rio de Janeiro. Christ the Redeemer, Portuguese Cristo Redentor, colossal statue of Jesus Christ at the summit of Mount Corcovado, Rio de Janeiro, southeastern Brazil. It was completed in 1931 and stands 98 feet, that is 30 meters tall. Its horizontally outstretched arms spanning 92 feet, that is 28 meters. Is Paris a World Heritage Site? Paris is one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world. Paris, banks of the Seine, is a collection of properties that cover cultural importance to France and its neighboring areas. Hence, it was inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1991. Who invented rockets? Robert Hutchings Goddard. Dr. Robert Hutchings Goddard, 1882 to 1945, is considered the father of modern rocket propulsion, a physicist of great insight. Goddard also had a unique genius for invention. It is in memory of this brilliant scientist that NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland was established on May 1st, 1959. How important is the moon to life on Earth? The brightest and largest object in our night sky, the moon makes Earth a more livable planet by moderating our home planet's wobble on its axis, leading to a relatively stable climate. It also causes tides, creating a rhythm that has guided humans for thousands of years. Is potato a fruit? A vegetable is the edible portion of a plant. Vegetables are usually grouped according to the portion of the plant that is eaten, such as leaves, lettuce, stem, celery, roots, carrot, tubers, potato, bulbs, onion, and flowers, broccoli. So, a tomato is botanically a fruit but is commonly considered a vegetable. Why durian is bad for health? People with a high cholesterol should not eat durian fruit as it will cause one's blood cholesterol levels to spike. The fats which are found in durian's fruits are monosaturated fats, and these may help to lower an individual's LDL, bad cholesterol, and triglyceride levels. Can we control gravity? The better news is that there is no science that says that gravity control is impossible. We are quite adept at controlling electromagnetic phenomena, so one can presume that such a connection might eventually lead to using our control of electromagnetism to control gravity. Who came first, Einstein or Newton? When Einstein proposed his theory of general relativity in 1915, he was throwing out a direct challenge to Isaac Newton, whose theory of gravity had defined our understanding of the universe since 1687. Einstein argued that Newton was wrong about what the force of gravity actually moves. Why is the Supreme Court in India so powerful? The Supreme Court plays a very important role in our constitutional system of government. First, as the highest court in the land, it is the court of last resort for those looking for justice. Third, It protects civil rights and liberties by striking down laws that violate the Constitution. Who invented zero? The rules governing the use of zero appeared for the first time in Brahmagupta's Brahmasputa Siddhanta, 7th century. This work considers not only zero but also negative numbers and the algebraic rules for the elementary operations of arithmetic with such numbers. Which is the longest train in the world? The Trans-Siberian Express, the longest rail journey in the world and getting longer, is the stuff of legend, a train ride that starts in Moscow and ends more than 6 days later in Vladivostok. What is quaternary sector of the economy? The quaternary sector is the label used to describe a knowledge-based part of the economy, which typically includes knowledge-oriented economic sectors such as information technology, media, research and development, information-based services such as information generation and information sharing, and knowledge-based services such as consultation, education, financial planning, blogging, and designing. Why Indian Constitution is called borrowed Constitution? It is called so because Indian Constitution has borrowed provisions from the constitutions of various other countries. However, calling the Constitution a bag of borrows is unfair because it is not a result of blind copy and paste. Which is the richest country in Southeast Asia? Singapore. The city-state of Singapore is the richest economy in Southeast Asia when ranked in terms of GDP per capita. The country has highly developed market economy which ranks towards the top on global lists of the free and most competitive economies. Who made geographic maps in 1154 AD? Al-Idrisi. Arab geographer al-Idrisi oversaw the creation of more than 70 maps. This al-Idrisi map contains the Mediterranean Sea, Northern Africa, Europe and parts of Asia. It is oriented with the south towards the top. Which state in India has no high court? Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Nagaland, Goa doesn't have its own high courts. Do polar bears live in Antarctica? Polar bears live in the Arctic near the North Pole. Penguins live on Antarctica and the neighboring continents near the South Pole. There is little doubt that polar bears are very recent offshoot from the brown bear lineage, though there is considerable debate over when this divergence took place. How did Britain leave India? An early symptom of the weakness of the empire was Britain's withdrawal from India in 1947. During World War II, the British had mobilized India's resources for their imperial war effort. They crushed the attempt of Mahatma Gandhi and the Indian National Congress to force them to quit India in 1942. Who is the first lady governor of India? Sarojini Naidu was the first female to become the governor of Indian state. She governed Uttar Pradesh from 15th August 1947 to 2nd March 1949. Her daughter Padmaja Naidu is the longest serving female governor with 11-year tenure in West Bengal. Who was the last viceroy of the India? Louis Mountbatten, Earl Mountbatten of Burma, became Governor General and oversaw the transition of British India to independence. Chakravartula Rajagopalachari, 1878 to 1972, became the only Indian and last Governor General after independence. Who attacked 17 times on India? Muhammad of Ghazni. In 1001 AD, Muhammad of Ghazni first invaded modern-day Afghanistan and Pakistan, and then parts of India. Muhammad defeated, captured, and later released the Shahi ruler Jayapala, who had moved his capital to Peshawar, that is, modern Pakistan. Why is Iran no longer called Persia? Evidently, from the time of the Sassanids, Iranians have called it Iran, meaning the land of the Aryans, and Iran Shahar. In the mid 1930s, the ruler of the country, Reza Shah Pahlavi, moved towards formalizing the name Iran instead of Persia for all purposes. What is the difference between governance and government? The most formal is a government, a body whose sole responsibility and authority is to make binding decisions in a given geopolitical system, such as a state, by establishing laws. Governance is the way rules, norms, and actions are structured and sustained, regulated, and held accountable. What is the best definition of an oligarchy? Oligarchy, government by the few, especially despotic power exercised by a small and privileged group for corrupt or selfish purposes. Oligarchies, in which members of the ruling group are wealthy or exercise their power through their wealth, are known as plutocracies. What is the meaning of heritage tourism? The National Trust for Historic Preservation in the United States defines heritage tourism as traveling to experience the places, artifacts, and activities that authentically represent the stories and people of the past. And heritage tourism can include cultural, historic, and natural resources. What is grilling means? Grilling is a form of cooking that involves dry heat applied to the surface of food, commonly from above, below, or from the side. Grilling usually involves a significant amount of direct, radiant heat and tends to be used for cooking meat and vegetables quickly.